ever said to you, oh, you're too young, oh my goodness, or you're too old to do that. Well, I tell you what, today we are knocking down those crazy age narratives because I've got a wonderful panel of guests today who are breaking those barriers at any stage of life, every stage of life. So stick around because you're going to want to take some notes because I know they've got some awesome advice, and you're going to want to pay attention to this one. So let's talk. Welcome to the Let's Talk Fabulous show. I am Gloria Grace Rand, one of the Fab Five hosts, and we are so glad that you are joining us today from wherever you are in the world. And if wherever you are in the world is dealing with, snow and ice or mudslides or any kind of crazy stuff, wherever you are in the world, just know that our hearts are with you. And we hope that you can spend some time with us today and learn how to be unstoppable, in the face of anything. But we're going to be focusing in on age and how to be able to deal with not letting age be a barrier. But first, I want to introduce these lovely ladies who are here joining with us today. And I'm just going to go around and have them just say their name and where they are coming from in the world today. So I'm going to go with the lovely lady right next to me. Tasha, how about you start us off?
Hi, my name's Tasha Garcia. I am in Illinois, a small town, northern Illinois, and it is cold here, but we're holding up.
Well, good. We're glad to have you. And next to you is Sharla. Where are you?
And hello, I am Sharla Lee Shults, and I am on the world's most beautiful beaches in Panama City, Florida. We're not experiencing the snow, but we actually have pleasant weather today. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. Awesome. And let's see, how about below you is Deb?
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Deb Krier. I am in Atlanta. It is not hot Atlanta today. It's got freezing and we got rain. And so, who knows? But we're going to have so much fun.
Absolutely. All right. And last but certainly not least, Macy, where are you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Macy Baxi, and I'm in northern East Florida.
All right. Awesome. And I'm in Florida as well, so we definitely have the Sunshine State represented today. So we're going to try to send you our warmth. So if you are chilly wherever you are today, we'll share some of it because we're going to get some cold for us weather later. But I'm going to start off today because one of our wonderful guests just did a great job with her video and just setting the tone for what we're talking about today. So I'm going to start off with Ms. Sharla, and I'm going to play your video here right now.
Hello, everyone. What a wonderful opportunity to be on the show today. Unstoppable at any age? Oh my goodness. At 78, I stepped onto the TEDx stage. At 79, my daughter and I were flying high, parasailing over the Gulf of Mexico. And now, this year, as I approach my 80th birthday, who knows what's going to be next? Because I know I am unstoppable at any age. What about you?
That was so good.
I like the way you inserted the photos in the video. That was awesome.
Well, yeah, gotta highlight being on the stage there, and that's something I have not done. But one of our other panelists has been on that stage as well, and I'm not even gonna say who it is, but I'm gonna let her talk about that later. So talk to us a little bit about how you are definitely not letting someone in their 70s, keep you from doing some amazing things.
I decided that the latter years or later years of my life were going to be the most memorable because these are going to be the years that my children are now at an age they're going to appreciate what their mom is doing and how she is sustaining and moving forward with her own life and be an example to them that life can be unstoppable and keeps going at any age. The age really, to me, should not be the barrier. If you keep yourself in good health and you maintain your well being, that's going to set you at the top of the totem pole where you can take care of your family, your finances, your friends, your faith, your fellowship. Everything falls into place as long as you're healthy and you can benefit from all the joy that you can get in your life. Doesn't matter about the age.
Well, that's wonderful. I love that. Deb, I see you smiling over there. What do you want to what do you want to add to that?
I want to be Sharla when I grow up. I don't know about the parachuting, but I just love that. I love that you are not letting anything stop you and you're going full speed ahead.
Excellent. Yeah, that's for sure. Tasha, you were gonna look like you wanted to say something.
No, my hand is because I also want to be Sharla when I grow up. You're such an inspiration. I just love the outgoingness, right? You are unstoppable at any age, and regardless of being 20 and thinking that you have to wait for something, or being 80 and just owning it. We should have that mindset across the span of our entire lives, and I just feel like that's really inspirational to see what you're doing at 80 and not letting those things stop you from achieving whatever you want.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I also look back on when I was growing up. And when I was growing up, I did not have the liberty, so to speak, to make a lot of my own decisions. They were all made for me. So as I grew and I matured and I made my mistakes and I learned from my mistakes later on in life, I realized that it's me. It's what's within me that counts. And as long as I can be happy with myself and I can stay deep, within and keep my faith and keep my trust in what's happening, in my life, then I'll be able to move forward. And that keeps me going. That keeps me from just wanting to just sit in my chair all day long. And I can't do that. I have to move.
Oh, absolutely. So Macy, I'm gonna pop you in here because you're the youngest member on our panel today. So what did you think about looking at Charlotte there?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I have to echo everyone's sentiments that it's just so exciting to see so many women, I think nowadays, are really rewriting the narrative on what it looks like to age. Because I think so many of us, we put ourselves in our own boxes that, we define as like, you're too young to do this, you're too old to do this. But I think Sharla is the perfect example of like, hey, I made a decision. And I loved what you said about like your kids, because I'm thinking about it of like my parents as well. Yeah, I appreciate them in such a different light than I did 10 years ago. And I know in 10 more years, I'm going to see them for everything more that they've done and continue to do with me and my younger brother. And then, of course, the families that we create.
Excellent. Well, I think you're all amazing, and we're all going to hear from you in a second. But we're gonna take a little music break here because our wonderful senior producer of this program, creator of the program, Tamara Hunter, has been doing some amazing work at creating songs for us for this show, and he's the one today about this perfect subject. So I'm gonna play that one right now. It's about being unstoppable.
They tried to hand me a finish line, said my best days were left behind. but I'm just warming up inside. This heart still burns, this soul still shines. I've lived, I've learned, I've lost, I've grown, built my dreams from broken stones. Every scar just shows me how strong I've always been till now. They put a number on my name, tried to tell me when to change, but I don't fit inside their rules. I was born to break them through. I'm unstoppable, watch me rise. Every season, every time. No expiration on this flame. I'm just getting better with age. I'm unstoppable, hear me say. I'm not done, I'm on my way. Every chapter still unwinds. I'm unstoppable by design. Every line upon my face tells a story full of grace. Every year just adds a spark, lighting up my wild, brave heart. I got wisdom in my walk, got my truth in how I talk. I don't shrink to fit the past. I was made to outgrow that. They say time is closing in, but I feel it opening. Every door that I step through leads me closer to what's true. I'm unstoppable, watch me rise. Every season, every time. No expiration on this flame. I'm just getting better with age. I'm unstoppable, hear me say. I'm not done, I'm on my way. Every chapter still unwinds. I'm unstoppable by design. We're not fading, we're evolving. Every dream still worth resolving. From the young to the wise, we have fire in every life. Different stories, one heartbeat, every voice, every age. We don't wait for permission, we step forward unafraid. We're unstoppable, here we stand. Every woman, every man. No more limits, no more lines. We were born to redefine. We're unstoppable, loud and clear. This is our becoming year. Every future, every sign. We are unstoppable by design. By design.
What do you think, folks?
Oh,
That was beautiful.
Yeah, and I think it's such a great. I love what she put together, especially even showing that gentleman who's got doesn't have the legs and he's still out there running. And anytime I see a video like that, it's just really makes me wonder why I'm not doing enough. And I remember when I was training for a marathon one time, and actually I was running a half marathon, and there were these old women were passing me. And I'm like, because I was in my 40s at the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to step it up here. This is crazy.
That's okay though. At least you're out there. I think that's part of it, right? It's doing the thing that you want to do. Now, right now I don't want to run a marathon. I'm not really interested in that. So it's okay, right? It's finding what excites you and what you're interested in doing and pursuing it and knowing that you can, right? So it's all personal to you.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. Macy, I'm gonna pop you in here because we're gonna look at your video in a second. But I know you didn't actually talk about this in your video, but I wonder if you could share something because I I mentioned something earlier that you have done at your young age. And what is it
Yeah.
that you've done, my dear?
Yeah. So Charlotte and I share that we've both been on a TEDx stage before,
Oh,
which was such an amazing experience. I did it that almost 2 years now, I think, with 2026. Yeah, it was a really great experience. I got to do it at Cherry Creek HS, and I was so floored to be able to have a platform to talk about what I had gone through during the pandemic, which was a huge bout of social anxiety and talking and like just talking to friends or family, let alone strangers or people I didn't know that well. And so I just kind of shared my experience of how I was able to kind of combat that a little bit, and really build the skills to kind of bring me to where I am now and my level of communication and how comfortable I feel showing up in the world.
oh, that's awesome. Well, let's learn a little bit more about you. So I'm going to show your video.
Hi everyone, this is Macy Baxi. I love this topic so much because one thing about me, I have been usually the youngest person in every room that I've been in since I was at least 8 or 9 years old. I used to struggle a lot with it when it came to insecurity and how I felt when I showed up in the room. One time I was interviewing a gentleman on my podcast, and I was able to take everything that I've learned throughout my past 8, 9 years of going to events, meeting people, expanding my worldview, that by the time the podcast had ended, he turned to me when we stopped recording. He goes, "This was the best call I have ever been on. Thank you so much for making me feel seen and heard." That's when I realized that age didn't have this barrier that I thought it did. We probably had a 40-year age gap, but it didn't make a difference in how I communicated with him. I'm really, really excited to talk more about this topic, and that's why it's so special to me. Thank you so much for all the footage that you put in. You made it so much more exciting.
Hey, that's our job here. You know, we got to make everybody just even more fabulous than you already are.
Thank you.
Congratulations on doing a TEDx. And if you don't mind, how old were you when you did it?
I had just turned 21, so it was about 2
Wow.
weeks after my 21st birthday.
Incredible.
Thank you.
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's what I want to ask you about, because or not specifically about the TEDx stage, but about the fact that, you know, you're doing stuff at such a young age that I think a lot of people your age are not even thinking about yet. And then on the flip side, there's people like my age who are like, oh man, she's like already on the TEDx stage and I didn't do it. So what advice do you have? Let's start first with maybe, young, people your age, and, how would you encourage them to be unstoppable?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I really appreciate it. And what's so funny about, I'm 22 now, about being the age that I am now, is that there was once a time when I was like 11 years old going to all of these events, like networking events, and going out and meeting people. And so I was so used to being so young that when I turned like 18, 19, I was like, oh, I'm normal now. Like I'm old. I'm like old now. So like everyone's gonna be like, oh, she's an adult now. She's like, it's not as special. But then obviously I realized that's not the case. And I still, at 22, I'm still very young in how I show up. And I think the real realization that it came was around like 19 or 20, when I was realizing that we had just put ourselves in all of these boxes of things that a 20-year-old does, or a 10-year-old does, or a 30-year-old does. And it just made no sense for me anymore. Like I was talking to so many of my friends, and there were things that people didn't want to pursue anymore because they thought they were still old and everything like that. I'm like, we are 20 years old. Like we're not old. And so I would say for young people who feel like they're not going to be respected, no one's going to respect you in any level unless you show up and you do the work. So it's the work that you have to do in and of yourself to see yourself as someone worthy of being in that room and being talked to. Otherwise, people are going to walk past you because they think, oh, she is young, she is sitting in the corner, she's not talking to anyone, why would I go talk to her? She probably doesn't want to talk to me, right? So it kind of goes back to the saying of like, no one cares unless they know how much you care. Like you have to show up first, and you have to have that sense to say, let me be the leader. in a way that makes sense, obviously. And then I think someone asked a comment like, why did you start going to networking events when I was 11? My dad's been a business owner and entrepreneur my entire life. So he's been hosting events since I could talk. So that's why I've been going to events, running events since I was a child.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Thank you.
I want to bring Tasha you onto the stage here next, if I can get this thing to work. There we go. So, because I know that you're younger than I am, and I know, but then I think you're kind of like in the middle between some of us here. So, what's your perspective? And I know actually that you even are involved in a program where you're dealing with generations. So, what's your perspective on aging and being unstoppable? Maybe at a middle.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's really been the last year that I've really opened up to things. So I will say 10 years ago now, I told myself I need to figure out what I'm going to do when I'm a big girl and have like my career figured out by 30. I was like, what am I doing by 30? So I figured that out. And at that point, for some reason in my head, it was, okay, I figure it out and that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And what I'm realizing as I get, older is we can continue to change and continue to do something different. I have a podcast with a group of women called Generations Woven. So we are 3 different women, 3 generations, and we are constantly learning things from each other. We are constantly understanding what and where we are in life and how we can grow. So for me, really being unstoppable is me removing the limitations of everything I set or everything I thought I needed to be or how I needed to be, and realizing if I saw somebody else, I want to do that. So now that's, things that I'm working towards, things I want to do, because we are really able to make any decision, and we have the limiting things that we have, or the limiting beliefs we put on ourselves. So finding a way to remove those limiting beliefs, step into who you are, and just experience life on your own terms is kind of where I am at this point in life right now.
I love that. Well, we're gonna go to another video right now, and this time I'm actually going to put Deb in the spotlight, because we're gonna do yours first, and then we'll come back to Tasha's. So we're going to talk to you about that, more about your video here in just a second.
Hello, I'm Deb Krier, and I am so excited to be joining Gloria Grace Rand's Unstoppable at Every Stage program. We're going to be talking about rewriting the age narrative. Now, I'm getting a little long in the tooth, but I ignore that. But what's happened since I turned a little bit more of a senior citizen? Well, at 53, I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Haven't let that stop me. When I was 60, I started an initiative called tryingnottoDie.live to help anyone who's on a cancer journey. And when I was, don't tell, 62, I started a cancer coaching business to help executives who are dealing with cancer. I am going to be going long into, I hope my 90s, maybe more, who knows? Technology might change things, right? But I am definitely unstoppable. I feel like I'm gaining more power, more strength at every stage. And more importantly, I know how important it is to build a community.
I want to talk about that last point, because I think that is so important for whatever age you're at. Talk about community. What does that mean to you, and being unstoppable?
Yeah, well, this is so much fun. I am loving this. We could go on for hours and hours, I'm sure. I'm an only child from the mountains of Colorado, right? Sounds like a TV movie. But I had a few close friends, but not a lot. And then I got sick, and I got really, really sick. I was told I was stopped. I mean, like by hours. The doctors were bickering over how soon I would die that day. And I discovered how important my community was, and the right members of the community, right? Because we've all got some folks that might not want them there, but it is so important to have a community around us. And, you know, I remember one time I went in for my numerous surgeries. I've had lots. And I remember thinking, well, I can't die. All those people will be mad at me. You know, but it is one of the things that definitely has gotten me through all of this, is just knowing that I have so many people who are supporting me.
Yeah, that's so good. And I know that's something that even behind our program here is Tamara Hunter founded this organization called, for chemo buddies. And so that is a big part of, I think, our why we do this show is to help people who are going through, stuff and to be able to help them still create fabulous lives. And despite that, and you are certainly a living example of that. And I'm so glad that you are here and still able to inspire people. Sharla.
Yeah, is it okay if I piggyback?
Yeah, absolutely.
Off the two of them? Because with both of them, what that brings to my mind is our matter of choice. We have that opportunity of choice. And then when we realize like our passions, and when I listened to Tasha and the changes, in her life, I started out in education. And I felt like, well, I'm still in education because I just can't cut that umbilical cord. However, I branched out beyond that because I made the choice that I didn't have to just maintain that one level, because we can branch out and go so far beyond. And I came from the world of math and science, and I went into the world of poetry and writing.
Wow.
Which is like the opposite end of the spectrum. And then I got into art, and it's just an opening of a new world. And I love the fact that here you have such an age difference because of Macy, and at her young age. Now, Macy, if I'm correct, you were on the TED stage in 2024, correct?
2022, I think.
No, 2024.
2024, and you were there at the age of 21.
Yes.
Okay. I was on the TED stage in 2024 at the age of 78. So age has no barrier. There is no barrier. So anyone out there that's listening, there is no period in time that you can say, well, I'm too young to do this. Well, maybe for some things in the youth part of it, but we can, as long as we decide within ourselves that this is what we can do, and we have the choice of moving forward or just staying where we are. So thanks. Love to both of you. I think it's awesome.
I love that. And one thing, I just finished watching a documentary about Mel Brooks, who is 99. And I've noticed there's, definitely some entertainers that, and like Dick Van Dyke just turned 100, and Betty White, I know, lived into her 90s. And, Carl Reiner was in his 90s when he passed. And I think one thing all of these people have in common is attitude, being cheerful and joyful and laughter. What do you think about it? What do you think about the importance?
Oh, I totally agree. I my expiration date may have changed, but I have a vision in my head, and I don't know where this came from. I have this vision of me in my head at 97. I've known, and many of the women who lived well into their 90s, but yeah, I'm like, and when they told me, where I overheard actually them saying I was going to die, I'm like, excuse me, I get to vote.
Absolutely. You definitely did. All right. Well, we're gonna take a little video break here, and I'm going to show Tasha's video right now, and then we're going to talk with her a little bit more again.
Hi, I'm Tasha Garcia. The thing about age for me hasn't been what people say. It's the assumptions that I make up in my own head. That voice that says, is this realistic? Like, what am I doing? What are people going to think? But what I've learned is that voice isn't wisdom. It's conditioning. It's years of absorbing what we're told is acceptable at certain stages and ages in our life. And the moment that I started questioning that voice instead of obeying it is when everything began to shift for me. I realized that my age isn't a limitation, it's context, and I get to decide what to do with it. So here's my tip for you. The next time that voice shows up, don't argue with it, just ask, is this my truth, or is this something I inherited? And I hope that question changes everything.
I love that tip. So tell us a little bit more about that. What do you think about that, inherited and versus, is this really true for me?
Yeah, kind of circles back to what I said is I didn't realize that I could just go do things I hadn't done. A few years back, I was kind of starting this journey of what's next in my life. What else am I doing? Is there more? And I used to be in drama when I was in junior high and high school, and I loved theater. And I decided as a full adult who hasn't done that since I was in high school to go and audition. I didn't get a part, but it was a lot of fun to get up on stage and play a part. It was for the play Clue, and I had a blast. And then it just it started spiraling from there. So that was in the fall. And then by spring is when I started realizing that there's more and I wanted to do more. So it was kind of learning myself that I thought that this was just my path and this was just going to be my life, right? The 9 to 5, the things that we do that we don't realize we're doing, kind of on that hamster wheel of life and just running and doing it. So really that's where I come from, of removing those limitations and realizing that, I'm here with you guys right now. How cool is this? I would not have been here if it wasn't for me exploring life and doing things different and talking to people and having conversations in person, where I met Gloria, which was an amazing experience. So I just say, get out there and get rid of the thoughts that this is how things are. Or if somebody's always told you, like, just because your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, whoever it is doing, the steps, it doesn't mean you have to follow those steps. You can step out, come up with ideas, dig deep down and say, what do I want to do? Who am I? What would be fun? Do I want to go skydiving or do I want to go do a marathon? So it's kind of circling to that. Just, you have options out there and you should take them.
I love that. And that is just the perfect segue for this song that I want to play today, because it is just, it's all about that. So I'm gonna play that, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna put everybody in the spotlight and have some more chatting about all of this wonderful stuff.
Choose to spark it, call it by name. Little
love that song because it really does. I feel, and you guys can let me know what you think, but it seems like that's been the running theme here that we've been talking about today. Is I think you have to be passionate about something, and then when you are, then age doesn't really matter. You can go after whatever you want to do. So, but I want to ask each of you, or whoever has maybe experienced this, what's one thing maybe that you're doing now that society says maybe that you shouldn't be doing at your age, and why is it fabulous?
I keep having people ask why I'm still working. Aren't you old enough to retire? And I said, I'll retire when I'm dead.
I love that. I love that. Anybody else? Sharla or Tasha?
Well, I have to go along with that because I have many people look at me and I'll tell that I'm still working or I'm writing or whatever I'm doing. They say, well, aren't you going to retire? And I said, well, I am retired, but retired doesn't mean that you're tired and you just sit all day. You take that into retirement, you just find something new. So I don't think you're ever retired. You may have left one particular entity or position or job and just fulfilled your passion or your desire or your need for that particular thing. But then being unstoppable, you just step into something else and then you just keep going because the age, as long as you take care of yourself, it just makes no difference.
Right.
But one thing I want to mention about the video that you just showed, I don't know how what the impact was on each one of you, but when it started and the lady opened up to the sunshine, it reminded me, because I'm such a nature buff anyway, that how often do we really absorb the beauty of that sunshine? Do we look at it and take it into our heart and absorb the warmth other than just saying, oh, the sun's shining, it's a pretty day, or to hold that coffee cup and to take that coffee and breathe in that aroma and really savor what you're about to sip and feel the warmth of that cup move through your fingers. Because to me, that feeling, that emotion that you gather from that makes it even stronger when you open the door and you step outside and you just take a deep breath. Because when you breathe, breath is the breath of life. And too often we take that for granted. So I love that video and that song. Thank you.
Thank you for noticing that. And I saw earlier today or just a few moments ago, some purple hearts going by, and we have something here at the Fab Show we honor called the Purple Heart Pen, or Purple Pen Heart Club. I'm getting it backwards, so I'm just going to put it here and then you'll understand. And we do that to honor those wonderful people who aren't with us physically anymore, but they're always in our hearts. And so we do want to honor them by doing that little mention, the Purple Pen Hearts Clubs. Yes, they are forever remembered, Tamara, absolutely. So I want to go back and let's talk a little bit more about I wonder, society has this idea of what, we're supposed to do at, age. It used to be that 65 was the retirement age, but, I think we're blowing past that. Baby boomers don't like the idea of retiring at 65. And also, I think of what young people are allowed to do too. There's some ideas that, well, you're too young, you're too young to be doing that. I mean, certainly, when Tamara was asking about, Macy going to networking events at 11 years old, and that's certainly nothing that I would have done. But I realize you've got a family, the family are in business, and so then that makes sense. But how do you handle sometimes, like, maybe either your own internal voice or other people saying that you're too old or you're too young? Sharla, you look like you wanted to say.
I know. I just didn't want to jump in too quick because I wanted to give someone else a chance to speak. But I admire one of the quotes of Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer made the comment one time that I am totally independent of being dependent on the opinion of others. And when I was brought up, I will have to admit that I was always told, know your place, do the right thing, make sure you don't muddy the water. So I always feared hurting someone else's feelings or not belonging, not knowing how to be me, because I felt like I had to please everyone else. And becoming a people pleaser stifled a big part of my life until I got older and realized that you are your own individual and you make your own choices and decisions.
Yeah. Macy, how about you? What's your thoughts about that?
No, I absolutely agree with everything that Sharla's sharing, that we just put so much, and it's hard, like, I don't think it would be remiss of us to say, oh yeah, just ignore people, because that's really hard to do at every age. I mean, I can't tell you the biggest thing that recently I have been able to overcome is people stopped asking me what high school I go to or what grade I'm in. And that's been like the biggest thing from like a hurdle for me to go over. I think for me, I really kind of also going back to what Sharla said earlier, because she is like a wealth of knowledge and everything she says is amazing, is taking that moment of reflection for myself. Because there have been so many times where maybe people aren't even saying the words anymore. Maybe they're not saying, oh, you're too old or you're too young. Maybe they're not saying it in that way, but they're saying it in other ways that you can kind of pick up on. And that's sometimes when it hurts the most, when they're not even able to fully admit it to you. And so recently a lot, I've been just taking quiet time to myself, whether that is literally just alone and by myself, or, it's before bed, or sometimes it is listening to something that is quiet and soothing for my brain, just to reflect on who I am. Am I liking the person that I am? Am I enjoying the things that I have been doing? Are the steps I'm taking every single day part of the path that I know I could go on? And we don't know everything. We don't have every single answer of where we're going to end up. But are we taking those steps towards the path that, that looks most ideal at this point? Am I, treating people correctly? Am I talking correctly? Am I doing things that bring me joy? Am I doing things that challenge me? And those moments for just myself to know about myself is, I think, has been the biggest helpful tool I could ever give someone, or advice I would give at any age, feeling like you're inadequate for all these arbitrary rules that we all make up for each other.
Yeah.
Now I want to be Macy when I grow up.
Why?
And it is, even at the ripe old age that I'm at, there are still times where I think, oh, somebody didn't like you, or but I catch myself, and my thought is, so what? I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but so what? Maybe they're not my cup of tea either, and so we're gonna go have an adult beverage, right? But yeah, it's and I think we're always gonna think, what are people thinking? But we do need to know it's not that it doesn't matter, but it's that we take it and we go, okay, and then we go on.
Yeah, understanding if that feedback is actually something you should do something with, or just hear it and then let it go. We can't take every piece of feedback and decide to make action. And that's where we have to decide. And Macy, back to what you were saying too, is I love that self-reflection, I don't think we do it enough. And that's great that you kind of brought awareness to that, to sit and say, where am I right now? What am I doing? And knowing that you can do that and change it at any point, which is the beautiful part about life.
Yeah.
And we can always fix whatever it is. I mean, unless we've killed somebody, we can go on and go, oh, well, that didn't work, or oh, that worked really well. Let's do that again.
And I think you nailed it too, Tasha, when you said the self-reflection, because I believe that's where a lot of people falter. And I feel like I did earlier in my life because I never really took the time to self-reflect. I was on the outside. Everything was external. And when you turn from the external to the internal, it makes sheds an entirely different light on the picture. And I love the so what. I'm in a group, an Attracting Grace, a group, and in there, one of the biggest lines is, well, so what? Because really, I mean, that's the way it is. The decisions are ours, and we're the ones that are responsible. So what? I love it.
This is so amazing. You all are so wonderful, and we're starting to get towards the end of our show. It is. I knew it was going to fly by, and it has indeed. So I want to go around in the last few, say, 5 minutes that we've got left or so. Have each of you talk about what would you tell someone who maybe feels that they've missed their opportunity to pursue a dream? What advice would you have for them? Who wants to start?
Well, I'll jump in.
Okay.
I would tell them, so why can't you do it now? I was talking to somebody one time who wanted to go on an around the world cruise, but she couldn't afford it. And she was that had been her goal and she couldn't do it. I said, so, okay, go to museums, read books. You can get that experience other ways, but why not?
I like that.
Yeah,
Tasha.
and adding to that, so I feel like we need to look at more of what season we're in rather than like a missed window. I don't know if I was ready to do this at 20, like Macy, right? So I was going through different pieces of my life. At 21, I had a 4 or 5-year-old and another baby on the way. So I had my children young. I wasn't in this season, and now I'm in this season, right? So there's no right or wrong time. It's just when it's right for you and when you decide that you want to take that step. So I just want my thing to say is just to remove the limitations that either people are telling you or you're setting yourself. Go for what you want to do. And when it's your season, you'll know, and everything will just feel right. It'll feel good. You'll have some stress, right? I put myself out there on social media, and I started on TikTok and just recording myself, which was so cringy, right? When you watch a video of yourself, you're like, oh my gosh. But now I've got this video and I'm showing friends and I don't care because I've overcome that and I'm in my element. So just step out, remove the limitations, and be you.
How about you, Macy?
I love everything that Deb and Tasha said. And I would say that, listen to what they're saying about finding what it is that's holding you back. And I would say put a list together, like write down all the reasons you believe you can't do something, because then you're going to go through the list and you're going to slowly start realizing like, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. That's not that big of a deal, right? Oh, I can't start recording on TikTok because I don't know what to say. Well, I mean, like a million people, you can Google, you can find topics. If you use AI, like you can use AI, right? It's like, okay, so that's not that big of a deal. Oh, I don't have the right camera. Well, a lot of people start out with like our phones nowadays have probably the best cameras that we can find. So it's like, okay, then it's not that. So you go through that list, and then I think writing it out and seeing it physically in front of you, you'll realize, oh, you'll get to the end and it'll just be like, myself. It's like, oh, that's what's holding me back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a coach tell me one time, to ask like, okay, so what's the worst that could happen? And then, so what's the best that could happen? Because that is often what will have you say, well, yeah, the worst is not that word, or it's not terrible, but the best, that's something really good. How about you, Sharla? What's your thoughts here?
Well, don't worry about what happened yesterday. don't try to plan too much for your future. I mean, we do have plans for our future, but we have to take the action steps that lead us up to that. But when you get up in the morning and wake up in the morning with your intention, instead of waking up, oh gosh, yesterday I didn't finish this, I didn't finish that, I got to do this, I got to do that. All that's past, that's behind you. So wake up in the morning with your intention of gratitude and clarity. Gratitude for everything that you have, because there's nothing that's any more important than understanding the blessings that you have, no matter how small, how minor they are.
Mhm.
Take those into your heart in acceptance and begin the day with what I call a grace reset. And that grace reset centers on your breath, because that is our life, is our breath. So if we take the time to slowly breathe in the newness and exhale the oldness, then our day will start a lot better. Just simply make better choices.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Thank you all. This has just been amazing. And thank you for those of you who've been watching and commenting today on social media. And thank you to those who've been watching us on E360 TV and who will watch the replay there, because I forgot to do our little writer downer, because there have been so many wonderful nuggets of wisdom that these wonderful ladies have shared today. So go back in and watch this again, and have your pad of paper handy and write it down, because you truly can be unstoppable at any stage, any age of life. It just takes deciding. I think that's it. You said that earlier, right, Sharla, about just it's your choice. Choose to do it, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you all for being here and joining us today. And we will be here again next week with another fabulous show. And it's going to be amazing. So, we hope you will join us and go out and do it today. Fabulous.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Gloria.